Hi, everybody. So I just needed a few minutes to get things set up. My camera had been turned. Hello, hello. Today, before we get started on the project, I want to go through the paper. This is brand new Splendor by Authentique, and it is available at countrycraftcreations.com, and it should be in your local scrapbook stores. So if you have one that you drive to local, it should be there. And remember, if it's not, talk to the store owner. Tell her to order from Authentique, and they can get it in really quick. Hi, everybody. Oh, I love September 1st. I know it's not the first day of fall, but it is to me. Today, I have to tell you a little story. I actually baked. Hi, Lori. I baked some mini loaves last night. Well, yesterday afternoon. And they were wrapped. They were all pretty. I was going to put them in my little boxes to show everyone. And my husband and son came home from work and they ate them. So I don't have the mini loaves to sit in here, but they do fit. That's what I made these boxes to fit for. So the little box, you don't need a closure because you can use the handle, and I'll show you there's a couple of things. Hi, Karma. We did, but this box is so cute. The paper's so perfect, and it's going to be great for your housewarming gifts, for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, or just for fall if you need to make some teacher's gift, neighbor gifts. But let me show you the paper first. So with Splendor, you're going to get the elements, and I really love these, and I'll show you why. The back, so I used one of them for a tag. It has the wood grain, great to write on, the to and from, and of course the sunflowers, the squirrels, the pumpkins, everything is just housewarming. It is so beautiful. And like I said, the back of each one of these, when you punch them out, unlike a sticker that you can't use the back of it, these have that wood grain, so you can write on it. I just love that. Love it. Or maybe you just want to always get more than one. I always tell everybody get more than one because you can use these as matting and different things with that back color. Just adorable. Love it. It just came out really, really well. And it's a 6-sheet paper. There's 6 sheets. So in your collection kit, you're going to get 2 sheets of each. And in your paper pad, you'll get 3 sheets of each. So I love it. We've got Thanksgiving. We have fall, which fall is my favorite time of year. I'm going to be putting these on some wooden blocks also for for decorating in the house because they are so beautiful. I just love it. The back, love the color. It has that kind of pale, I call it a blonde color. It just reminds me this year I'm seeing a lot of leaves this color in the craft stores. In fact, I bought a whole couple of big strands of them because they're the light colored leaves. It's just beautiful. Sunflowers. So this is the sunflowers that I used on the front of this box. And that's the little squirrel die cut element. And then you have this gorgeous Argyle sweater look for the back. Hi, Bobby. Leaves. And then it has a gorgeous cobblestone grayish blue in it. And the spectrum, there is spectrum matching cardstock that goes with this. And again, we have kind of the wood grain along with those leaves. Looks very distressed. Darling pumpkins, and the pumpkins all have the different plaids that you see in the paper line, and of course the sunflowers. So this I'm going to be doing that to my pumpkins. Gave me such great ideas, this fall paper. I will be taking some wire and putting around the stem of my pumpkins. Isn't it cute? Oh, let's take a look at the back. So we have that bluish gray and the sunflowers. So pretty. And plaid. What's fall without plaid, right? And more of those gorgeous, I have to put my hand here and focus that way. More of the gorgeous pumpkins, and you've got some red apples in there. Really hard to pick up, but you could put a red cardstock with this because there are red apples, tiny ones inside there. Polka dots in all those wonderful fall colors. And again, another plaid with that blue. So it's gorgeous. It came out really well. They did such a great job printing it. And now we're going to get started on our cute little project. And I want to show you the project. So the project, again, you can hold the handle, and when you open it, because they tuck in, but you don't have to have these tucking in, and I'll show you. I created the box. It can go on the outside the way we're going to do our handle, but you won't be able to hold your handle. And I use the polka dots on there. Hi, Lane, and I'll be seeing you soon. But I did the sides with the handle, so you can tuck those in. And then you will be able to use your handle and hand out your boxes. And this box, you also don't have to put on a handle. And on the inside, I did the plaid. And one thing, the cutting guide is above. And in the cutting guide, I do mention a lightweight piece of chipboard. I did put in the bottom. Optional. This comes on the back of your paper pad. So very accessible. Or a cereal box, just to give it a little weight when holding the bread. And like I said, the bread was supposed to be in here. That's why I did a 2 3/4 inch box. But my husband and son ate them, both of the mini loaves. Yeah, I was not happy. But they did not realize it was for a project. So we're going to get started. Really easy. Takes 2 pieces of cardstock. One is 8.5 by 11. And one is going to be 5 1/8 by 8 5/8. And this is going to be the lid part. You can use a magnet. I did not use a magnet, being that, oops, I can't get a hold of it. I am making a bunch of these to put mini loaves in for the neighbors. I'm not waiting for Thanksgiving. I'm just celebrating fall. So they're all going to start getting these. But I figured giving this to a neighbor, I didn't want to put a magnet on there. You certainly can. If you want to put a magnet, if you're going to use it for something completely different, and I can think of 1,001 uses for this. How did you use it with, how did I use what with the handle? No magnet. So I'll show you exactly how this is done. So we're going to first cut your 8.5 by 11, 5 1/8 by 8 5/8. And then when you cut this last piece, you're going to have a 12-inch strip like this. And I made my handle 1 1/4 inch by 12. And I did not put that on. I don't think I put that on the cutting guide, or it'll be right up above in the StreamYard explanation or announcement. But I will go ahead and cut this now at 1 1/4. And you can make your handle any size you like. I may have cut it bigger. I did. It's 1 3/8, but 1 1/4 either size is fine. I cut my matting 1 1/4. Open the box. Oh, we are putting the handle on the side of the lid. Oh, cute, Tanya. It's connected to the kid. Tanya said it's, and that way it tucks inside our box. And we can carry it because it gives you some weight. 1 3/8 by 12 is that handle piece. I'll just set that aside with that lightweight chipboard if you want to use lightweight chipboard. Hi, Margaret. And we're going to start with the bottom box. And one thing, let me tell you what I did to get this size. I had taken the size of my finished product, which was the little mini loaf that was eaten, and I put it in the box. And that's how I determined what size I wanted to make my box. So if you need to make a different size, all you have to do is lay your bread or your loaf down and extend it if you needed to, but you would still score it the same for those of you that are really good at figuring out those measurements. We're going to score this, all 4 sides, at 2 3/4. I need a different bone folder. Need some new ones. 2 3/4. And you just want to score all 4 sides the exact same thing at 2 3/4. Let's score the lid. So for your lid, I have the 5 1/8 across the top. We need to score first at 1/2 of an inch. So when I was figuring it out, I had to double check all my score marks. So let me check that really quick. 3 1/2 is what I decided on. So 1/2 and 3 1/2. That way it laid over the box. Okay, let's turn it to the side, and you're going to score it 1 1/2 on both sides. I did use my corner rounder, and I'll show you on these corners. And you do want to use it, or you want to use something on those edges so that they'll fit inside your box. Well, it doesn't hold super perfect. I mean, your bread's going to be heavy, right? That won't fit. Your bread is going to be heavy. It's not a super. That's about my bread. Let's put that glue bottle in there. And no, it's not going to be where you can carry it to your neighbors exactly like that. It kind of moves. So, you know, you want to hand it to them like this. But if you put something lighter in there, just some loose candy, yeah, it's going to hold. Let's start with our box. And we've already done the 2 3/4. It's 1 1/2 inches. And I turned it and I scored it again at 1 1/2 inches when you turn to the 8 5/8. So 1 1/2, 1 1/2 on each side. 1/2, 3 1/2. What were those score marks? What score marks? Now, hold off. Don't just start cutting your base. We will be doing the matting first too, but let me show you. We need to do our cutting on this long side, not the short side, the long side. There's a reason for it. These 2 pieces that are going to fold in, they bring extra weight onto the side of your box. So you want to cut the long side, this 8 1/2 inch side, I mean this 11-inch side, and we're just going to cut straight up on the score line. For right now, you're just going to cut straight up on all the score lines that are on this side. And across. So just come over here to the other side. Now, I want to miter this outside, but just slightly. You can see I'm hardly taking anything off, just light. Let's turn it over. If you go too deep, it's not going to hurt anything, but the whole idea, hi Cindy, welcome. I'm trying to keep the weight. I want this extra weight to be on the sides to make my box stronger. So see, just a tiny bit off that edge. Now when we fold in the sides, they're going to meet. And now we've just added extra weight. Okay, and as we are getting ready, we're going to be matting the sides of our box. Now the video stays recorded, so you'll be able to access it when we're finished here, and you can go back and get anything that you did miss. This bottom piece is not mandatory, but remember I did post it and mentioned it in the beginning. This is the back of the paper pad and a cereal box or any lightweight chipboard. It's 2 7/8 wide by 5 1/8 long. No, 5 3/8 long. So 5 3/8 long, 2 7/8 wide. I'm going to glue it right down. We're going to mat on top of it, but it's going to bring, it gives extra support to the bottom of our box. And our glue is never ready when we want it to be. Okay, so down that goes, 5 3/8 long. So that's what our length is going to be for our matting. Our matting is 5 3/8, and the width is going to be 2 5/8. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out for the inside. I'm going to hold the paper here. I'm going to use the leaves, which is number 2. So I'm just going to cut a piece that's 5 3/8 wide. Ooh, I think I'm going to use that side for the inside. So that means that's going to fit perfectly top and bottom. It's going to do our sides. We'll have to do our short sides just a little different. So I need 2 pieces for the bottom that are going to be 2 3/8. Same as that chipboard. 2 7/8. I'm getting my 3/8 and 7/8 mixed up. Sorry. 2 7/8 wide. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 2 7/8 from this long one. It will fit perfectly on top of that lightweight chipboard. But you need one for the bottom. Now we need 4. 2 for the inside and 2 for the outside. And these are 5 3/8 by 2 5/8. We scored these at 2 3/4. I'll have to cut from here. My big cutter doesn't always. So I'm going to cut these 2 5/8 for my matting. Exact 2 for the inside, 2 for the outside. So I'll need to use the second piece. Now I'll cut this down to 5 3/8. Now let me tell you about this piece that you just cut off. This is going to be perfect because it's 1 1/4. That's why I did my handle 1 3/8. It's going to be a perfect fit. So we didn't waste any paper. So I now have the top, which we'll glue on in just a second. But I need to cut 2 more of these at 2 5/8 for the outside. All right, so we've got these all cut, but we have these little guys. So it's still 2 5/8. Well, hi, RJ, long time no see. But the width is going to be 2 7/8. So 2 5/8 by 2 7/8. So now I can just cut this down to 2 7/8 and 2 5/8. Only thing is, we need 2 more for the outside. So I got to get a second piece out here. And I know I have one. Okay, but I don't want to cut a whole big piece, so I'll just cut the 2 7/8 and 2 5/8. Hi, Marie, how are you? Okay, so there's my 4, 2 5/8 by 2 7/8. Check your directional. My sides, you needed 4 that are 2 7/8 by 2 5/8. And our bottom pieces, 2 7/8. One for the inside, one for the outside at 5 3/8. So that's where that. Those are my sides. Those are my bottoms. Okay, now we're just going to glue those down. You can ink, definitely distress your edges. I'm going to flip it over. We're going to mat the outside. So I'm going to use the more wood look on the inside. And before we go on, because I want my handle to dry, I'm going to cut. This is 12 inches long. I'm going to cut it down to 11 7/8. And my handle is 12 inches by 1 3/8. And I'm going to glue this down because I want to round it, and it works better if the glue is dry. And this can be sitting. And we're going to cut another piece. If you want a piece for the underside. And you'll have just that 1/8 of an inch border. Mr. Wilbur's doing great. He actually just came down. He has his own life now, Tricia. He's kind of a busy little boy. He just kind of roams the house looking for things to get into. So I'll now just put that aside. Let's mat the outside. Again, choosing what color. It's easier if we mat flat. And if you have a directional paper, definitely check your directionals. And the handle is going to sit on top, so we do want to mat. This will be really cute for a handmade gift, Pamela. And then you can put other gifts on the inside. Gift cards. Oh yes, Wilbur, my little beagle, does like to antagonize my other dogs for sure. This will this will also, this would be a cute gift with masquerade. Get out that Halloween paper. Mine still, of course, I've got to really dig into mine. This will be really cute. Fill it full of gifts for a family member. Usually I do, for the grandkids for Halloween, because the older ones haven't been going out trick-or-treating, so I'll make them something and fill it full of candy. And the teenage girls, of course, gift cards to Scooter's Coffee Shop, because that's their favorite. Okay, now, before we close up our box, we have to keep a couple things in mind. We won't be matting these two long sides, so we have to attach a lid. And of course, we have our little attachments here. But we can go ahead and mat the sides, and no harm will be done. So I'll go ahead and attach my matting pieces to the two short sides. And before we put our box up, I'm going to grab some clothespins. This helps. I always do a couple things before my box. I like to do with my boxes so they're square. I like to reburnish all my edges because we've kind of flattened them out. And really, really burnish them. You want a square box. You don't want a box that's bowing, or when you see them kind of gaping out. You want a nice square box. So really burnish those score lines. Okay, we're going to attach these two outer pieces that we did not do a lot of mitering on, because they're going to be part of the reinforcements for our box. Make sure it's square. It's a pretty big size. So I'm going to stick my clothespin, and we'll do the opposite side, and they should have a little gap in the middle. If not, you can trim one of these edges if you need to. Again, making sure it's square. Okay, we'll let the clothespins do the work. And we'll just repeat with this side. Again, making sure everything is straight. On your sides. I'm using art glitter glue. It dries really quick, so I can move those over and burnish the inside. You're in a virtual waiting room? How cool is that? Okay, so that's down. Oh, it makes a good clothespin holder too, by the way. So if you have clothespins, you can also use your box as your clothespin holder. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to mat one side. It doesn't matter which side. You have to leave one bare. We have to attach our lid. So you just want to mat one side, and we'll do our lid. And just make sure you get it nice and flat. And there's almost our inside of the box. Let's move to the lid. You remember we have a 1/2 inch. This is going to be our attachment that it's like our hand, it's a hinge that we're going to attach to our box. But right now let's just burnish all these score lines. Okay, for this one, we're going to cut these 2 squares completely out, and I want you to go to the inside of the score line. So we get rid of it. Try not to pull that out. There we go. And on the back, again, we're going to remove these 2 triangles, but you can go ahead and miter the inside of this long piece. And again, cut to the inside and get rid of that score line. We want this to be just a hair short anyway. We don't want to miter that piece. But I'm going to fold that over. I'm going to trim that so it's nice and smooth, and I get rid of the score line. I'll do the same thing again on this side. So it's pretty straight. You can use, oh, well, you could, but okay, here's the thing. The handle's stuck here, you can. The brads, you'll just have to try it. It may interfere, or you can just put it on the outside. I tucked mine on the inside. And I'm going to use my chomper on the 1/4 inch. You can do a decorative edge. You don't have to do any edge if you don't want to. Get those all rounded up. And now we want to go ahead and mat. And oops, this piece, I'm going to turn it backwards, because it's going to be, you know, the hinge. We want it to move back and forth. So we want to loosen it up. Okay, let's mat the box. I'm going to use pumpkins. This box is going to be a little busy, but I'm okay with that. Oh, maybe I'll use, you know, I think I'm going to use the blue sunflowers. Let's use the blue sunflowers. I use the pumpkins on the inside. So, our lid matting. Our box is now going to be, why the angry? Me angry? I'm not angry. Oh, there was an angry face? Oh, I don't know. 2 7. Okay, this is going to be 2 7/8 wide. And 5 1/2 long. So I need to cut at 5 3/8 because I want a 1/8 of an inch border. So 5 3/8. I want 2 pieces that are 2 7/8. down on this little guy, he's 1.5 inches. So I'm going to just cut this at 1.5. I found last night, I'll show you here in just a minute. I cut it at 1.5. Oh, your twin daughters, how cute. 1.5 just seemed to fit perfect, even though it measured out to be 1.5. So this is 1.5 by 5 3/8. Oh, your twin granddaughters. Oh, cute. And then you need one for the outside and one for the inside. And these two guys, 2 7/8, again by 1.5. And you already have one piece here to use. We need 4. I'm going to check. No, this one I'm going to go 1 3/8. You need a new blade. So 1 3/8 by 2 7/8, 4 of them. And because this is a pattern, I'm going to have to go with another piece, the directional. So let's cut. Let me get this right. One 3/8, so I can use less paper. And now I can cut. What did we cut these? Do you ever do that and you just go brain dead? 1 3/8, 2 7/8. Of those flowers, yes, they will be on the website soon. Let me just put it to you that way. They will be here soon, the rest of them. Okay, I'm going to do blue on the outside. I'm going to do the pumpkins on the inside. So one thing you want to make sure if you're doing your corner rounder that it's going the right direction. That's when I turn it to the inside. I love those pumpkins. Try to do the bottom. And we'll do our sides here in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and mat. This is the inside. We can mat this whole thing. Again, the inside. Nothing wants to stand up today. We must be having a gravity thing. Okay. Inside. Again, making sure I cut the right side of that. That seems a little bit long. So trim it if you need to. needed to trim that one. Well, I love, thanks, Joan. I love the box too, and I really wanted to show it to you with the mini loaves I made, but they're gone. They were eaten. Yeah, see, this one, I think it looks better with more of a border. So I took 1/8 of an inch off. I should have on that one. And now we'll do the outside. So the outside, I'm going to do the blue. Isn't that cute? Love it. So I'm going to check my length. We're good. Comes together too really fast. Actually, you'll get it done a lot faster at home. What I did is I cut a bunch of these because I had to actually make a couple of these for my daughter. So I just cut 3 at once, and I had 3 made in less than an hour. And so they do come together quick. And you can use a lot of your leftover papers from a big project from Splendor. It's called Splendor. I keep wanting to call it Splendid. I'm just taking 1/8 of an inch off. I'm making it a little bit shorter. Banana bread would be wonderful in these, Deborah, absolutely. And if you send them to my house, I'll make sure they go in the box, and my husband won't eat them. I think he was just shocked that I had baked something, because usually I'm down playing with paper, and I think he got excited and he was eating it. So my son came in, he ate the other one, and I went up to get him to put in the box to take the photos, and they were gone. I'm like, where are the mini loaves I just made? I said, you could have eaten them after I took the pictures. They ate them before. That would be cute, Kathleen. Yes, do it as patchwork. And this is such a cute patchwork paper, actually, to put in with others. Okay, there's our lid. Let me just get it on all flat. And we want to attach this first, but I want to go ahead. If you want, so I did the underside. If you want to do the back side and you're using glue, I would go ahead and cut it now so that it has a minute to dry. And it's 1 1/4. The matting's 1 1/4 by 11 7/8. Oh, I want to show you something too. One thing I did, that's why I didn't mat the back. Take the back, take this to the back, and I marked it up. I went on the measuring to 1 1/4, and I'm going to mark 1 1/4 on each side. The reason being is when I attached it to the sides, I found if I didn't have matting on the back side, it just lays so much nicer. So I don't want to mat those 2 ends at 1 1/4. So in between, you want to cut your matting to 9 1/2. So I'll take this strip and cut it down to 9 1/2. And that will leave that so we don't get it too bulky underneath. I can erase that. I know, boys, they don't even ask. That was the other thing. I had bought everything for soft tacos. Shredded lettuce. Who eats shredded lettuce other than with tacos? Nobody in my house except for my husband this time. Well, he said, you've been complaining that all the green stuff's going bad, so I decided to eat it. This was last night too. I'm like, well, now you get to go to the store because we don't have the lettuce for the soft tacos. And we didn't have any more in the garden, so he had to go to the store. And it's boys. If the boys would stop eating everything in the house. Okay, I want that flat. That is going to do better if we let it dry while we're putting the rest of our box together. Okay, grab the base and this piece. And what this is going to do is sit just nice and neat right inside there. Again, I want to go ahead and burnish all my score lines. So out here on this outside edge, I want to add my adhesive. I used a little extra. And I'm just going to sit my lid right on the box, making sure everything fits nice. As soon as it dries enough, you can open it. And we're attaching it right to the inside. Oh, and my pumpkins are upside down. I didn't check it. So we're going to let this dry for a second. Just keep burnishing it if you're using the wet adhesive. Now that's where you can decide. I put mine on the inside. So it stays better closed, but right now I just want a mat on top of that hinge that we just created. And you can see again so many uses. You can put 2 cupcakes will go in here. You can line up your cookies, put them in the plastic wrappers and lay them in there if you want to do them for a gift. And really, you don't even have to put a handle on this cute little box, but I just really like the handle. So we're going to now attach the handle using glue. This is nice and dry. I'm not going to flatten those, round those, but I'm just going to take my bone folder and see when the glue's dry, you won't get any wrinkles. Because we want to round our handle. And when you get the shape that you're liking, just grab your box. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to the outside. And this is the reason I left that unmatted, so I can bend it over. Bend it over, and now we're going to add our adhesive. And I just eyeballed the center. And we'll just let the clothespins do the work for us. And we'll repeat on the opposite side. So it's really easy to center this across. The only difference is it's a little harder to, there we go, fold it. We don't want to mess up the other side. I just put it down at the bottom of the matting. This is where it's, there we go. To bend it back and forth a few different directions. And I also love the fact that the handle is like, it'll keep your box open. So you could also do some cute displays. You could fill this up with pumpkins. If you wanted to put it on a table, candy corn, pumpkins, whatever, then see the little handle holds the box lid open for you. That was just one of the perks of this. It just happened that way. Make sure it's secure. And you can tuck it right inside, like so. And then let's decorate the top. I'll do this one a little different. This one already had the darling sunflower, so it didn't take much because I felt it was already pretty much decorated for us. But I do want to add the autumn splendor and the We Love Fall most of all. Or we've got this one. Look how cute this is. And if you have a scallop punch, you can definitely add to this. But I have the autumn splendor. And I'm going to put it right on the center inside here. I'm going to use this for a tag. So you'll want to use a hole punch. If you have one, I'm just going to punch a hole here on the side, maybe up to the top a little bit. This will be my tag. And I'm just going to use some twine that I've already put together like 3 times. And it will be, you can write to and from right on there. Let's go this way. And like I mentioned, Authentique, this is already shipped. So you definitely want to get, oh, and this paper, and it has only been printed on the smooth cardstock, which is just fine. The smooth cardstock is just as beautiful as the textured. I do have a preference, but you know what? After working with the smooth, they actually, you're going to notice it's a little bit heavier paper. And I love it. So there's my gift tag right on the box. And you can write on the back. And I'm going to use some foam paper. I'm going to have to use black. I'm out of white. That's okay. These won't show. We're just going to pop our piece up. Is there a reason you didn't put a magic on the flap? A magic? I'm not sure, Trish. Put a main. This is I've been using these. These are just some sunflowers that I have. And they happen to go really well. And I got to tell you, I know right now, too, that the Dollar Tree has had some really cute sunflowers. So if you're looking for some sunflowers, you can wait for countrycraftcreations.com. I'll have these in the shop in just a few days. Use my clothespins to hold the glue. Or the Dollar Tree has some really cute, coming apart, has some really cute sunflowers. That came off, so we're just going to glue him back on. I think we'll put these down here on the front. And I just use my art glitter glue because it holds it nicely. Just takes a few more minutes. Or it takes our clothespin. So let's put a bow. Just take your twine, double it. This is actually about 5 times I've doubled this because it's a really thin one. And some adhesive. Just going to tuck it down here on the corner. You guys, you were wondering what? Did I miss something? I know I was asked earlier about a magnet, but where these are going to be gifts that, I mean, the flap looks really cute flapping. I wanted it to look kind of old-fashioned as possible, very vintage, like the paper. I don't usually put magnets on things like this that I'm giving away because it adds to the cost. So you definitely, if you want to put a magnet, just put them on before you do your matting. I did not. I didn't see a need for one. And again, you can leave your handles on the outside or you can tuck them on the inside. But putting them inside does make this a little more secure. And it's sad but true. We spend a lot of time creating these and they're just beautiful. I just love them. They make great gifts. Oh, not everybody. I have actually seen people receive these for gifts and throw them away. I know it kills me because I don't throw anything away like that that's handmade, but people do. And putting a magnet on there just means it's probably going to go into it. Well, it means it's very possible it could end in the garbage. And so I don't do that. But I thought I really like this blue one. I thought I loved this one, but I love this one. And then you can add your flowers. So again, if it's maybe for a neighbor, I probably would make my own flowers. I wouldn't even go through buying them. I would use the the cardstock and punch my flowers. But because I know that these are going to go to somebody, and actually they're in a swap, so somebody will get these. Measurements. Okay, videos. Yes, if you're looking for past videos, you can go right on the Authentique paper page, and if you look in the video files, you'll find all the videos. And also you can play this one back and you'll be able to play them back. I mean, they're permanent, so you can access all of the videos that I do for Authentique and also our designers. And also you can join Everything Authentique. On Everything Authentique, you can see design team projects, customer projects, and you can also share what you make with the Authentique papers. I hope you guys enjoy making our box, and do show us over on Everything Authentique what you make. And Splendor is now available, so be sure to check out your local scrapbook store or countrycraftcreations.com. I have it in total stock, and I really enjoyed making these, and I love designing them to fit my little mini. And it sounds like we might have some deliveries from Authentique upstairs. The dogs are going nuts. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you next week right here on Authentique.